Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary with you. Rico, what's up?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. It's not going to be going great here in a little bit.
Oh, please. We're just going to read statistics.
Bad statistics.
Glaring statistics.
Not happy statistics.
Yeah.
This is the statistic hour.
This is the statistic hour. Or maybe the statistics segment.
Statistic segment. Say that 5 times fast.
That's tough. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can always hit us up on Twitter, Nick_Sainert at Radio Rico AC. Chase B kicks us off on the text line, says, Thicky Nicky, what's up? And I would say this, hi, we need to extinguish that nickname.
Yeah, I think we're done with that.
It's ran its course.
Can I answer Chase's question before that?
Sure.
So Chase B posed a question, said a question not about football. What do you guys think of Nebraska volleyball getting dropped to number 2, even though they swept the team they played, and Texas taking the number 1 spot? Well, I would say that Texas had already had more number 1 votes than Nebraska did going into that week, and Texas played Ohio State, who is currently number 8, and swept twice. Swept them the first time, only dropped a single set the second time, whereas Nebraska played Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Pepperdine, and Tulsa.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a difference in competition. But if John Cook doesn't care, I don't care either. You're still in the top 3. You're in the top 2. So I think you're still sitting pretty. You didn't lose. You're doing fine. It's fine. You're great. And Whitney Lowenstein. Yes. Lowenstein is hitting over 300 and has been dubbed the assassin.
Yeah, she's playing well. John Cook, actually something interesting that he said yesterday, because he was on the podium at 11, then Frost came on at 11:30. And something interesting, 2 things from John Cook yesterday. How do you feel about you guys losing or like dropping 1 spot in the ranking? He said, just win, baby.
Yeah.
And then he said something along the lines of, I'm more worried why we're last in aces per game. And so that was interesting. Second off, he was asked kind of a weird question about why did they have to have a conversation with Lowenstein to stick around? And was he surprised that she didn't leave last year? And his response was something along the lines, and obviously I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of, the expectation here is clear. You know what you need to do on the floor, off the floor, and what kind of performance is required to play here. And he goes, we didn't even approach to have that conversation, or have the thought to have that conversation with Whitney. And so it just kind of shows that things are transparent within the volleyball program. They have a lot of success. Expectations are laid out throughout the entire program, from coaches to players, and everybody's on the same page, and they are undefeated, haven't lost a single set. They play Thursday night, and then they play Ole Miss on Saturday. So it's going to be one of those things where expectations are clear, they're laid out, and they are certainly a national championship contender.
It's going to be an exciting time for Nebraska. Well, it's always an exciting time for Nebraska volleyball, but especially with what they've got going on this year. It's going to be really interesting, and I'm wondering if they're going to do anything for Kayla Banworth as she makes her return
I don't know.
to Nebraska as the head coach of the Ole Miss Rebels.
It's going to be interesting. John Cook also talked a little bit about that yesterday and just said he never saw Kayla Banworth becoming a head coach, which is kind of interesting. She was asked, did you ever see Kayla becoming a head coach at this level? And he just replied, no. and then went on a little bit deeper and explained it a little bit more. But he said, when we hired her, I just wanted a former player around the program. And even while she was here, I didn't think, head coach was in her future necessarily. But he goes, now, it's always great to see where our programs. Yeah, he mentioned Chris Tomas at Texas and the long coaching tree that John Cook is building, whether it's former players or whether it's former assistants at Nebraska. The coaching tree that he has built and sustained through all of his years is truly remarkable. And it's a really good indication on Nebraska's program. It's a really good reflection on Nebraska's program. And so we're super blessed to have John Cook. Obviously.
It is a large coaching tree. It is expansive and it is successful.
Yeah. Chase B says, Nick, if you want that nickname to die, you better tell VJ. Thomas and Lincoln and Byron asked the same question. How's the Wingstop sandwiches? Delicious.
Fantastic.
I just had the lemon pepper one today. It was pretty good.
I think I'm going to try Louisiana rub next time.
I would dabble in the lemon pepper again. I got a sandwich for DP. DP went bold. He went atomic.
For a sandwich.
Oh,
okay.
So he went with the atomic sauce on the chicken. So bold move by DP.
He's going to give it to somebody else.
He probably will. He's probably like, "Hey, Nathan,
you wanted a sandwich?
You've ever tried the chicken sandwich?"
Oh, maybe we shouldn't have said that. Maybe that's exactly what he's going to do.
Maybe he's probably going to walk in and be like, "Come on."
Nathan's not listening.
I don't know. He sometimes listens. Thomas and Lincoln says taste test to both of you. No, thank you.
Hard pass.
I'm out on the atomic stuff. I've went through the initiation of hot stuff. Done the hot
Nathan.
Ones.
Nathan hasn't.
Nathan has not done the hot ones twice. Don't need to do it again.
He's on
You've
their
done
show
the one
now.
chip.
Yeah, he's on their show now. He needs to do it.
You've done the one chip, Rico.
That was a terrible idea.
Yeah, we don't need to do any more initiations through hot things.
Nope, hard pass. But let's get to your sadistic.
Okay, so you ready for this?
Yeah, your sadistic statistic.
402-464-5685. This came from Matt Schick of ESPN just a couple days ago.
Thanks,
yesterday. And he says, great nugget here from ESPN Stats. Saturday was the 7th time that Nebraska lost a game under Scott Frost when it had at least an 80% chance to win at some point in the game. And the 4th time that they've lost in the last 9 games when they've had an 80% chance to win. So you ask, what are those games? And let's start first with 2018 at Northwestern. Now, this one brought up a lot more feelings for me than I thought it was going to. Nebraska loses this one 34-31. They would fall to 0-6 after this loss. All right. Let me just read you a couple statistics here, Rico.
Interesting start to the year.
Yeah, interesting start. 0-6. Then they would play Bethune, and they would win after this week.
Yep. Our chunk kicker.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And the guy the assistant coach that bought Arunza.
Yep.
On the sideline.
Good
so
times.
Clayton Thorson, the quarterback for the Wildcats at the time, threw for a career-high 455 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. It was a 34-31 overtime loss. And you talk about the parallels from 2018 to 2022. Once again, Nebraska in this game had a 97% chance to win in the middle of the fourth quarter. In the middle of the fourth quarter, they had a 97% chance to win the game. And basically what happened, they saw a 10-point lead slip away.
Right out of their hands.
Yes. Here I'm trying to find the paragraph that I read. Here we go. Nebraska got the first shot in overtime after Northwestern deferred. Scott Frost decided to go for it on 4th and 1 at the 16 rather than kick a field goal, in part because Barrett Pickering missed one earlier in the game. Shout out to Barrett Pickering.
Barrett Pickering doing the kickering.
Former 5-star from the Coles camp. A low snap out of the shotgun on what quarter? So 4th and 1 out of the shotgun.
2018.
A low snap out on the shotgun on what quarterback Adrian Martinez said was supposed to be a running play did in the Cornhuskers. He scooped up the loose ball around the 30-yard line, heaved it to the end zone from the 37-yard line, and the pass was intercepted by J.R. Pace. Northwestern moved 6 yards before Luckenbaugh, their kicker, nailed a 37-yarder on 4th down to give the Wildcats their second straight victory and set off a wild celebration. So that's the first one. The next one.
Don't worry, there's more.
There's more. 2018. Well, I guess before this, 2018 in Colorado, Scott's first game.
2018.
Colorado at home.
Yeah, I was say that wasn't in Colorado. That was against Colorado. Yeah.
2018.
Wait a minute.
87% halfway through the fourth quarter. 2019 at Colorado. In the fourth quarter, Nebraska had a 94% chance to win.
That game
pissed you off.
Game made me so mad.
That one makes you mad. That one brings up a lot of feelings.
How do you lose that game?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't have a 99% chance to win at some point.
So Northwestern at the 97% was the highest.
Goodness gracious.
97% was the highest.
That one at Colorado.
So
that one still makes me mad.
The one at Colorado in 2019, it makes you frustrated. 94% halfway through the fourth quarter. Then it was in 2021. So nothing in 2020. In 2021, you had 3 games. That's true. They had 3 games that they were over 80% chance to win halfway through the fourth quarter.
Ooh, okay.
Purdue, Michigan State, Iowa. Iowa comes in at a glaring 95% chance to win halfway through the fourth quarter.
I don't like those last two.
Michigan State was 86%, and we all know what happened to that one. Purdue, although Adrian Martinez threw 4 picks,
I forget about
you still
that.
had 80% chance to win.
I forget that they still had a chance to win that game. I just remember the 4 picks. I was like, it was over.
It was over. Yeah,
it wasn't
even a shot. And then obviously just last Saturday, Northwestern with 7 minutes to go right before the onside kick, you had an 88% chance to win.
Cool.
So it's one of these things. Axel Foley says, "How did you guys find another way to infuriate everybody even more with all these numbers?" Man, infuriate us, he says. And that's the thing. It is, that is just demoralizing. AD texts in, Nick Enrico, I'm still in the Denver airport because of delays. Please make it stop with the misery, not memory lane moments, LOL. AD, man, listen, it's brutal to go through the past,
and
right?
to cover all your bases.
Yeah, just cover all the bases. So once again, just to remind everybody here,
this is not the first time.
This is not the first time that
Nebraska will probably be the last.
Well, maybe.
I hope not.
I hope not either.
I hope it is the last.
I hope it is the last, and I hope Scott Frost is still the coach.
Yes.
So once again, 3 of them, I guess, in the last 4 years, Nebraska has, with halfway through the fourth quarter, Nebraska has had over a 94% chance to win, according to the ESPN win prediction. 94% with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
If you have a 94%,
that is unreal.
If you have a 94% chance of anything good, you take that.
Yeah,
usually
you take a 90 because the projection, the probability is so high.
Granted, if I tell you that there's a 6% chance that if you reach into this bag of chips, you could die, I'm
comfortable with it.
You're not going to do it.
I'm going to say there's no way there's a 5% chance.
If I have 10 chips and I say one is 10%, one of these chips can kill you, you're not doing it.
No, probably not.
This is different.
Is this you trying to rationalize that these numbers are okay, Rico?
Look, they're
not.
I'm just saying that there's a chance.
So, and here's this. Byron makes a good point. Those stats are all coaching. And that's not necessarily what I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to harp on the fact that they can't close out. I'm not trying to harp on that fact.
Not all of them are coaching. 2 of them are mistakes. Are mistakes that no matter how much coaching you do, sometimes it happens. The blocked punt, the punt the wrong way. Those are mistakes. Those are mistakes. It went off the side of the foot. It's not the coach's fault.
That is true.
And the blocked punt, somebody missed it. Somebody missed their assignment. Not the coach's fault. They harp on those. They harp on the assignments. They harp on, directional punting all the time. I'm sure they do in practices, and they try to get it right. And you work on it until you think you can't get it wrong. But look, there's a small chance that the ball could just not fall right when you drop it and it goes off the wrong side of your foot. There's a small chance that you go to block somebody and somebody that you thought was rushing holds back, and the person you thought was holding back rushes, and all of a sudden you're in a bad situation. Your punter doesn't have enough time to get it off.
Which is wild that it's crazy to think, and it's being realistic, honestly. When you look back at these last 4 years and now one game, after Saturday's performance punting wise, right? If we just want to single out punting, we're pretty pleased with how they punted.
Boom, Sheeny,
But
baby.
when you look elsewhere across the conference, that's just a given. That's a normal thing for them to do. Average 48 yards per punt and have one that goes maybe over 50 yards and switch field position. But that's where we're at as a fan base and as a program right now, where you're taking those victories and saying, look at that, we punted at 48 yards, we reversed the field. We're okay with if we go 3 and out from our own 20. Why? Because our punter can actually get it on the other side of the 50.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're taking victories in such small areas of the game because in recent years, you haven't been able to take victories in that area.
It's areas that normally, for Nebraska and for other teams are just kind of a given. Like, other teams just have punters that they can rely on to flip the field. Maybe they're not going to flip it to the extent of, from 120 to the other 20, but they're going to flip it where the team is on the other side of the 50. They're in negative field position where they're not on your side of the 50, where Nebraska hasn't been able to do that for a while. So taking the small victories is really just, not taking for granted things that should be a given now for Nebraska football. And Fat Phil asks, Rico, why is it that when it comes to Nebraska, there's never a small chance, but more of a likely chance that the bad stuff is going to happen?
It's wild.
I mean, it's still just a small chance. It's not, if you sit back and you're sitting there like, all right, well, when is the bad thing going to happen? Which, if you sit back and you think that, then something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the fans, thinking that has any effect on it, but if you're on the football team and you're just like, wow, things are going really good, when is the flip going to switch and something bad's going to happen? That's when you start, not playing to your full potential, and you're kind of hesitating on things because you're like, oh, well, this could be the time when something bad happens. And that's when things go awry, when things go haywire. So if you just, do your job, do what you're supposed to do, focus on the things that you're doing well, and not focus on the things that have happened before, all the negatives that have happened before, and think, okay, when is this going to happen? I know it's going to, it's only a matter of time. Then at some point, things are going to flip the other way.
Well, it's just, you play timid, right? You play timid. If you play timid and afraid to make the mistake, then that's when you make a mistake. And it sounds cliche, but remember, the whole motto coming in for this staff was no fear of failure. Mm-hmm. And I hate bringing that up because it feels like Nebraska's kind of gotten so far away from that.
That was years ago.
It's more of fear of messing up. That's what it feels like right now.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say that after they lost. And I don't necessarily want to dwell on Saturday's game, but it just shows that there's another reason or another example of how it's a pattern. And that it's happening almost every single time that Nebraska steps on the field. Unfortunately, it just doesn't go in their way.
Sometimes things don't work until they do work.
What's interesting is here's this text, and they lay it out pretty well. And I want to hear from you guys, 402-464-5685. So Frost probably had an 80% chance of winning before the onside, but settled for a 23% chance at getting an onside. And according to a statistic from last year, the chances of getting an onside kick are down to 6%. 6%.
Jeez.
So if you want to just go straight by the numbers, and you could take the Nebraska aspect out of it, take the Scott Frost, take the history, all of that out of consideration of what Nebraska's gone through. If you just put X team and Y team playing on a Saturday and use that same situation, anything that you say about Saturday, you look at the situation and say, well, Nebraska's up 11. And they're choosing to go for a play that they can convert 6% of the time on average, compared to trying to win the game where they're a favorite. At the time, it was like an 85% chance or whatever. It's just crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about. I don't know what to say. Once again, 402-464-5685. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of an early timeout. When we come back, Rico.
Bit of a sip and Jake.
Thank you. I didn't say early break, though.
Yeah, but you should have.
So we'll say an early timeout. When we come back, I want to talk about this little bit of offense stuff going on. Scott Frost having to hand off the play calling duties to Mark Whipple. Is there tension? Should there be tension? Sip, Jake, and I kind of talked about in the spillover a little bit before the drive this morning. I want to continue that conversation, get your thoughts on it, Rico. We'll hear from Scott Frost as well coming up in the next segment. You're listening to the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Bauer Infrastructure is a new name from a well-established brand, and they're paving the way to progress. And they're hiring. Bauer Infrastructure is hiring truck drivers, carpenters, truck mechanics, and equipment operators. And they have industry-leading benefits to maintain a work-life balance. Bauer offers paid time off and paid holidays, a matching 401k plan, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, a clothing allowance, and more. Start your new career today by applying at BauerInfrastructure.com. Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainert, and join me for 2 games this week. On Thursday at 7 p.m., it's the Lincoln North Star Gators going up against the Lincoln Northeast Rockets, only to lead up to our Friday night matchup at 7 p.m. between Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln East, as both the Knights and Spartans try to avenge Week 1 losses. Both those games are coming your way this Thursday and Friday right here on 93.7 The Ticket, your home for high school football all season long.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you. Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
Keep your tailgate cool with the dazzling hot deal from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase of only $1,500 or more. Take advantage of interest-free financing with no money down. Sartor Heyman has gorgeous jewelry in every price range, so buy her the diamonds she's been dreaming of and get instantly rewarded with a Yeti cooler for free. Offer ends soon, so hurry in and snatch up this cool jewelry deal. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to painful sounds like this. Ow! Poor guy, trying to do wiring all by himself. Let's have another listen. It's just not worth it. Don't hurt yourself or make things worse than they are already. For any of your electric needs, call Joe at Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico back with you. Shout out to Empire Fence and Netting for sponsoring the show. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show.
Before we get into football, I have another volleyball statistic.
Okay, go ahead.
I just saw this one. Nebraska volleyball leads the nation in opponent hitting percentage. They are currently holding their opponents, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Tulsa, and Pepperdine, to a .01 hitting percentage.
There you go.
Let me repeat that one. .01 hitting percentage. Nebraska's defense on point for the first 3 games. A couple more tests coming up this weekend. Tomorrow, they play. Who do they play? I knew this, and now I can't remember.
Isn't it Louisiana Monroe?
No. I don't believe so.
Obviously, they play Ole Miss
They play Ole Miss on Saturday. I feel like a terrible person. I always
You're
like,
supposed to be
I
covering
I know I'm
volleyball,
supposed
Rico.
to know this,
This is supposed to
and
be
I
on you.
knew this, and then I lost it, and I'm terrible. Give me like 5 seconds. They play Loyola. It wasn't L. Loyola Marymount. Then Ole Miss. Ole Miss and Loyola play earlier or play on Friday. If you guys want to go to that one, if you don't want to watch the Huskers.
Next week on Wednesday, Nebraska travels to Creighton. They'll have their first road game at the CHI.
That'll be on FS1.
Yes, and then they come back on Saturday with a matchup against former assistant Tyler Hildebrand and Long Beach State on Saturday. Before their biggest match so far this season on the following Tuesday against Stanford at home.
Nice Tuesday matchup with Stanford on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah. So it'll be something to watch as we go along. But once again, Thursday, tomorrow at 6 p.m., they'll have Loyola Marymount. And then Saturday, they face former Husker Caleb Anworth and the Ole Miss Rebels at the Devaney Center. All right. So I want to talk about this Husker football situation. Scott Frost clarified kind of the comments that he made on Saturday about offensive staff needing to be more creative and things like that. He clarified that on Monday. I know it's in there, the expanding on the creative comments. Here's what he had to say real quick.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I said that after the game. I guess, kind of referring to the run game more than anything. Coach Whip's really good. He knows his stuff. Thought he did a really good job calling the game. We've gotten better up front. There's no doubt about it. We're better at running back. There's no doubt about it. But in the Big Ten, it's hard to just turn around and hand it to a back and think you're going to be real consistent. So I think I was referring to coming off the game, just maybe having a few more things in the run game that are schemed for the particular opponent.
Slight disagreement, but also agreement with Scott Frost. I mean, there are teams in the Big Ten who just turn around, hand it off to the running back, and are successful because of the amount of push and just the amount of times they do it and wear down their opponents. But the amount of push from the offensive line, there are teams that do that. But I also agree with him where, if you don't have, the first round talent on the offensive line, if you don't have the first, second round talent at running back, I'm not saying that, Anthony Grant or Ramir Johnson or Gabe Irvin aren't that, but currently as it sits right now, they aren't. So if you don't have that amount of talent, you have to come up with different ways to get them the ball in space and maybe not run between the tackles every time. Maybe run a stretch, go outside the tackles, run a little pitch play. They tried, they had 2 reverses with Trey Palmer. Maybe, do something like that, fake the reverse, hand it off. Getting a little creative isn't going to hurt. They did try to be creative though, and like he doesn't remember saying it. That's kind of the problem with post-game pressers directly after games. And sometimes coaches say things and they come back the next week and they're like, oh, didn't mean to say that. That's just in the moment type thing.
Yeah.
So I agree with him. I disagree with him. I'm kind of on both sides with that statement.
Mark Whipple did say today, quote, "I was more encouraged than I was discouraged, about the offensive work against Northwestern." He kept saying that they're harping on this week that they have to finish. They have to, not shocking there. You got to finish. Give some more energy, some more effort on each play and things like that. So it's one of those things where Mark Whipple once again said he was more encouraged than discouraged on Nebraska's offensive output against Northwestern. But another thing that I would say also is Scott Frost is in this weird situation right now where during the offseason, Rico, I think he had come to, understand and realize like, hey, listen, I'm not going to be involved in the offense as much. I'm going to be able to have conversations with defense, with special teams, things like that. But then I don't think he realized until he was in the heat of the moment how difficult that would be for him. Because this is a guy that everywhere he's been a big part of this whatever offense, whether it was Oregon, whether it was UCF, and then his first 4 years in Nebraska, he's been a big part of this offense and known to a lot of people. And still, I think Nebraska fans like this does not go away or leave from the Scott Frost resume. He's an offensive genius. He is. Whether you want to say it or not, or you want to acknowledge it or not, he's an offensive genius. It just might not work in the Big 12 or with the guys that Nebraska Big 10. Oh my goodness. With the Big 10.
I think it would work in the Big 12. Actually.
I think it would work in the Big 12 or with the type of bodies that they need in this conference. And it's through 4 years, you were trying to find this happy median where Scott Frost,
Oregon speed and
Nebraska power, Big 10 conference with Scott Frost system. That's what you were trying to find this marriage, and it never worked. It never went smooth. And because you had a guy like Wandale trying to play a position that Jaquez Yant's playing right now, it's just not working. And so
slight body difference,
just a little bit. So it's really weird that we're seeing it as the season goes on, and when we're seeing it unfold and kind of grow right before our very own eyes, where in a game, you kind of feel this awkward situation where Scott Frost is on the sideline going, this is what I would have done here, but you got to trust Mark Whipple. And it's not necessarily one of those things where Scott Frost doesn't trust Mark Whipple. I think it's truly one of those things where you sit here and say Scott Frost is just so used to being so involved that it feels it's uncomfortable when he's not calling the plays. I truly think that's where you're at.
I mean, like you said, he's been the guy to turn to in these moments for offensive play calling. So being on the outside and, handing over the reins to somebody else is going to be difficult for him. And he said so himself. He's still, figuring out how to do that. And he's going around, he's talking to the defensive players and the special teams players more than he has before. And that's something that he said. That's something that he admitted to, is he's talking to them more than he did before because he's not buried in a play sheet. He's watching the defense. He's giving his 2 cents to Chinander about, the defensive or the offensive formations of the opponent and maybe what he sees that the defense could do better. He's talking with Whipple about what the offense could do better, and maybe, throwing in his 2 cents and what plays he believes would work against whatever defense the opponent is throwing at them. So he's being more involved with every aspect of the game. That's something that he wanted to do, something that he's doing, taking a step back. But it is, when you've done something for so long and somebody asks you or you decide to take a step back, it's hard because you still want to be involved. I'm sure he sits there and he's, gritting his teeth thinking, I would call this play in this situation. And I'm sure he talks to Mark Whipple about it, and they go back and forth about, what play they should run. But at the end of it all, if he has handed the reins over to Mark Whipple probably gets the final say in what play goes out there unless Scott Frost overrules him.
Which is kind of interesting because we always say Mark Whipple is this coach of 40 plus years of experience and all this, and it's got to be tough. There's got to be a fine line that it's where Scott Frost and Mark Whipple have conversations, but then there's also a line of where Whipple says, "Listen, man, this is my show, and we need to do this. Like we need you to trust me and let me do my job." Right? That's been one of the things of so many years through the last 4 years, I guess, or so many situations through the last 4 years, is Scott Frost being so obsessed with this thing, which isn't a bad thing to be obsessed with it. It's not a bad thing because effort's never been a question. It's never been a question of whether or not he's trying to win here. It's just how he's channeled his ideas and thoughts and list of jobs for assistant coaches. It's just one of those things where it's got to be tough for Scott Frost to be able to step back. And we're seeing it unfold right in front of our eyes where they're still trying to figure out this marriage between Scott Frost and being somewhat involved in the offense, but being okay with not being fully involved. And they might have figured out a solution in practices in fall camp, but it's completely different in the middle of the third quarter when you're down 10, or in the middle of the fourth quarter when you're down 3 and your offense has been sputtering for a quarter and a half straight. Like when the bullets are flying, it's a lot more difficult to not have control in a season like this that you need to win games. Everybody understands the expectation, and Scott Frost is feeling the pressure. So in a season like this, when the bullets are flying, I'm sure it's extremely difficult, and it's killing Scott Frost inside, I'm sure, to sit here and go, I can't do anything about it. I have to be hands off right now. It's got to be very, very tough for the head coach. And part of that is personnel decisions. And part of that does fall on Scott Frost. And it's no secret. A lot of people were wondering where Ramir Johnson and Gabe Ervin were on Saturday.
Yeah.
And Ramir Johnson, Scott Frost actually talked about him a little bit on Tuesday's press conference, and just kind of said something along the lines of he got lost in between the shuffle of playing wide receiver and running back. And it was like one of these things where he wasn't ready to play wide receiver, but he had been spending too much time at wide receiver, so they didn't want to put him at running back. Here's Scott Frost verbatim here.
We needed some help. We thought with depth outside and with our depth at running back, I want Ramir to be able to play both. And he took a bunch of reps outside, and he's gotten really good at that. But it's been a little bit of a learning curve, and I think he just kind of caught between playing outside and playing in the backfield. And but he's good enough. We need to find some roles for him and make sure he has some touches.
It's just one of those things where you got to find a way to get Ramir Johnson on the field, especially when all fall camp we heard how valuable he's been to this offense.
Get one of your best players involved in the offense if you have to. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you do it. You line him up in the backfield, line him up at the slot, line him up outside as an outside wide. Just get him involved. We saw it last year. He's a very valuable weapon for this offense. Maybe it's not at the running back position. Maybe it is in the slot at the wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's, offset in the backfield as like a secondary running back. I don't know where they're going to use him, but I do know that he's invaluable, and his skill set is something that could be used for Nebraska's offense to get the ball rolling and obviously score more touchdowns.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If you're a defense, are you more concerned, and this is nothing against Wyatt Lever, are you more concerned about Ramir Johnson beating you or Wyatt Lever? That's nothing. That's not. I'm not taking a shot at anybody. That's just being honest. That it's being criticism. Like that's constructive criticism in a way. It's just if you're a defense, are you more concerned about Ramir Johnson being able to make a play or Wyatt Lever? And from everything that we've heard in fall camp, throughout fall camp, was that Ramir Johnson is this extremely valuable piece on your offensive side of the ball, and then you see him on special teams do his job, just like we've heard from Bill Bush. Mm-hmm. But offensively, you didn't get to see him. And Gabe Ervin was an interesting situation as well, where Mark Whipple said today that Gabe Ervin should be back this weekend, but that he battled a little bit of an injury on Saturday.
I mean, he is coming off of a knee surgery, so you got to expect some type of, when you get hurt, when you have a surgery, or the rest of your body is trying to compensate for whatever injury it was. So you got to expect something possibly to have a little twinge, a little not mess up, but just something not feeling quite right when you're attempting to go full speed, right back at it. So I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure it was just a little strange little hiccup in the recovery process.
Here's what's interesting, and this is complete speculation. Over in Ireland, they actually sent Gabe Ervin out to do some conversations with media.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times they won't do that with players that aren't suiting up, aren't planned to suit up. And I don't know if something happened in between them talking to the media and Saturday. I don't know what happened. And I don't want to speculate on possible reasons why they didn't play, but it was definitely confusing because normally they'll bring out people that are going to be factors in the game or that you expect to see on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. And then we just didn't see Gabe Ervin, unfortunately, on the field. And so he's one of those guys where, and this is nothing against Jacques Yant, this is nothing against other running backs in that room, because Anthony Grant looked pretty good outside of his, if you take away his 46-yard run, he has 50-some yards rushing, which isn't necessarily great, but he finished with 101, including that 46-yard touchdown scamper.
That's 50-some yards getting met behind the line of scrimmage damn near every time.
100%. So it's just one of those things where you wonder maybe they need Gabe Ervin back to really – Brian Applewhite's talked multiple times about this 1A, 1B punch rather than having a 1-2 guy, and maybe Gabe Ervin and Anthony Grant are those two guys for Brian Applewhite. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we will bring Nathan in for the crossover. Strick will join us probably from who knows where. Who knows where Strickland is. He called us from Florida yesterday.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Maybe he's back.
Maybe he's back in Lincoln today. We'll find out next on the crossover. You're listening to the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brent Excavate.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainert, and join me for 2 games this week. On Thursday at 7 p.m., it's the Lincoln North Star Gators going up against the Lincoln Northeast Rockets, only to lead up to our Friday night matchup at 7 p.m. between Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln East, as both the Knights and Spartans try to avenge Week 1 losses. Both those games are coming your way this Thursday and Friday right here on 93.7 The Ticket, your home for high school football all season long.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln, It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you. Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
The Ticket Water Cooler with Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
He was talking about Northwestern's run game. He said they hit us with schemes that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, he says that a lot.
Like, Scott, we know. That's why all offseason, like, oh.
Just stop saying that.
I don't.
Just stop. Like, he stopped saying that we've had the greatest practice we've had since I've been here in Nebraska.
Learned that, yeah. Not saying they surprised us.
They've
done we haven't seen.
They did some things that we didn't see on tape. Cool. Don't admit it.
Yeah, that's exactly what their job is to do.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
These two will not stop talking about what they're going to do. So I guess I'll just bring us in. Welcome to the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the final segment. Nice little crossover
What?
here.
It still has my Crocs.
Just going to mute those guys while I continue to talk about what I was going to talk about. These two hooligans, yahoos, will not stop yelling at each other.
We weren't yelling at each other.
I want to defend myself because Nick comes in, he's like, "Oh, because I brought my rundown for the show," and he goes, "Oh, like we already talked about that." You think? Everyone's been talking about the same thing every single show because that's the story. What do you want me to tell you? And I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have someone on our show that no one else has had.
Oh yeah?
And I'm not even gonna tease it.
I think you should. So then more people. I think you should tease it. So then people.
I'm not gonna let you guys steal it because then
I'm not
going
gonna
to
steal it. I'm not gonna. No,
we're not going to get.
We already have our listening over there too. He's going to get them on the wall.
We already have our guests tomorrow.
I won't even say it out loud.
All right. No, say it out loud. We have to let people know who to listen in
shocker.
for.
What do you mean?
Shocker.
What?
One of Strick's buddies.
I got connections.
Nathan, who
One
is
of
it?
Strick's buddies.
Cluster.
There you go.
Cluster Johnson.
I could get Cluster Johnson if I wanted. We went to the same high school.
Oh, how about that?
We went to the same high school.
You and Strick also went to the same.
Yeah, I know Cluster's sons. They're my homeboys. I can get CJ on. I can get Kate on if I want.
That's why I don't want to tell you guys.
Do you want to talk to Keegan? I'll get Keegan.
We have an exclusive. We have
I know all three of them.
On the block exclusive.
There it is.
Stick around for it.
Cluster Johnson.
Okay, Cluster.
Excuse me, 2:30?
No, 2:30.
Let's get Cluster Johnson Jr. on tomorrow. Let's ask him about Josh Allen.
We don't need to do this.
Why not? We'll ask him about Josh Allen.
No, if you guys want to start this, that's fine.
He caught passes from Josh Allen. And you know what? And you know what? Then I'll get Josh Allen on.
Hey, we should just get Tyrod Taylor.
You want Noah Fant?
That crosses the line. That crosses the line. We found the line. It's been crossed. It's done.
We should just get Tyrod Taylor.
I know
Justin Fuente.
I know a guy who knows Michael Vick.
Is Justin Fuente doing anything?
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you guys have Justin Fuente, I'm not coming in.
We're gonna have him in the station.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna listen on the radio. So you know what? I'm done. I'm good. I pass.
That's awesome. Trevolution says this. Yo, Nick. Not trying to make any excuses, but it would be nice to get a normal schedule under Frost. 2018 Lightninged out.
Lightninged out. That's not a word.
I understood what you meant.
That
though.
is actually what happened, though.
I understand what you meant. Lightninged out our first game against Akron, so we had to start against Colorado. 19 was somewhat normal. Yeah, you had to start against South Alabama, where your defense played decently well. 20 was COVID.
That's not somewhat normal. That is normal.
That is normal.
Did they win?
They did win against South Alabama. Then they lost, actually in a game that you're going to talk about on the road at Colorado in 2019.
That
We
one.
are 94% chance to win.
That one hurt.
21, start with the conference opponent in week 0, possibly in Ireland, but it was.
Well, it wasn't in Ireland, so it was normal.
22, start with the conference opponent in week 0 in Ireland.
I mean,
I have a tough time with the whole week 0 thing. And Trevolution, I get your point. I do get your point.
I don't.
Thank you, Rico.
Why don't we just start scheduling teams that are terrible?
No, I get this.
Illinois did it.
I get this. I get this thought, but I would also say the week 0 narrative I don't care for, because you get an extra week of prep. So everybody gets the same week, the same amount of prep in there. And so there's no excuse not to get ready. Nebraska started fall camp a week before every other Big Ten team that didn't play on week 0 did.
Yep.
And so you get the same amount of prep. You get the same regulations, same rules under the NCAA as everybody else.
If you wanted it normal, you should have scheduled a bye week for the next week like Northwestern did.
Then you would have been able to stay in Ireland
instead
an extra day.
Instead of having to fly to Ireland earlier and then fly back from Ireland immediately after the game and play another game that weekend.
Yeah, so Trevolution said, I doubt any other Power 5 has started with another Power 5 4 times in the last 5 years.
Alabama.
Thoughts?
Okay. Alabama, I don't want to hear about
I struggle. I struggle with that.
Because in week 10, they play the Citadel.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. They start with
Alabama
Power 5.
versus Tennessee, Chattanooga.
They start with a Power 5.
Yeah, in week 13.
but I'm not buying.
I don't care.
Why? That's not. You don't have to
we
buy
talk
it. It's
about-
a fact.
No, we talk about how great the SEC is. They break up their schedule with.
But we're not
teams
talking about later in the season. We're
that
talking
honestly
starting the season. Are you starting the season with the Power 5?
And
Yes.
I'm saying, but that
Doesn't matter about
counteract
week
that-
10. You still got to go
No,
through the other
because
9 weeks.
If Nebraska was going to counteract their week 0 game with playing North Dakota in week 10, okay, maybe we can have a different discussion.
Yeah.
But their final 4 games are against arguably the best teams in the Big Ten outside of Ohio State and Michigan State, maybe.
I mean, you're starting your season off with a Power 5, and then you're playing 2 supposed cupcakes. It was what you're supposed to be doing. So, I mean, just because you don't have it in week 10.
It's not that you don't have to buy that they're going to lose to either one of them. It's more you're just kind of on pins and needles right now, hoping that they look as good as you would expect them to against these guys.
I don't know.
Notre Dame opens up with a Power 5 damn near every year.
The thing is, okay,
they don't have a cupcake in week 10.
Notre Dame has to.
I know.
They
don't
have
have to.
choice.
They don't have to.
They need, if they want national respect, Rico, they have to.
Well,
because
join
they're
a
not
conference
tied to
then.
a conference.
That's Notre Dame.
That's a whole
now
other conversation.
No, that's idiotic. No, the question was.
How many
the question
times
was
the
no.
NBC deal do you guys not understand?
I understand. I don't say you guys. Don't club me into this.
What do you mean?
Why don't you just open the season with Central Michigan? Go
I'm
ahead.
partially a Notre Dame, not stan, but I'm just a Marcus Freeman
Notre
stan.
Dame is
Don't
dumb.
disrespect Marcus Freeman.
I'm a Notre Dame stan. I'll say it. My
This
dad
is
went to
dumb.
Notre Dame.
See, I'm torn this Saturday, Nate, because
You guys have me defending the SEC and Notre Dame. What is going on?
I know.
right
I
now?
hate it.
I'm torn this week because you know that I chose Ohio State to win the national championship,
Right.
and I'm a big Marcus Freeman guy.
Well, in all fairness, Ohio State can still lose this game, and honestly,
They
still be a
could.
1 seed in the playoff.
They could, but the chances are lower.
They'll still make the playoff because I highly doubt there's anyone in the Big Ten that can beat Ohio State. Maybe Michigan, but I certainly wouldn't bet on it.
Give me Wisconsin getting
Yeah,
hot,
we
baby.
don't even know what
The Wisconsin Big Ten championship. That would be the best way for the Big Ten to cancel divisions. The Big Ten West never wins, and out
The
comes
1 year.
8-4 Wisconsin. Stand aside,
7
Ohio
and 5
State.
with
Step
Chase.
aside, it's
no,
over.
7 and 5 after Braylon Allen gets injured and Graham Mertz leads them with a 250-yard day.
Ches Blucy.
More
Whatever
like
his name is.
100, like 45.
117.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
117 passing yards,
Hey,
that's-
1 touchdown, no interceptions.
That's 18-year-old Braylon Allen to you.
Say what you will. That is true. He's a grown man now. Say what you will about Big Ten quarterbacks. Ryan Helinski, the front runner for the Heisman right now.
He's not, but
Look it
sure,
up.
Good try.
Look it up.
He's not.
Well, it's week 0.
I
Are you
would-
telling
hey,
me Tommy
I'm
DeVito
telling-
over Ryan Helinski? Is that the Heisman race right
I'm
now?
telling you right
I'd
now,
consider
yes. Yes.
Vanderbilt's running back.
I just found out. I didn't see
They
that.
had like 180 yards and
no,
2
no,
touchdowns.
I did not see that Vanderbilt beat Hawaii 63-10 on
It was
Saturday.
bad.
They
It
smoked
was
them,
really
and I
bad.
looked it up because I was like, oh, they must have passed it all over the yard. Nope, their quarterback had like 140 passing yards. They ran it all over Hawaii.
Also, Thomas and Lincoln, here we go. Thickless and blue checkmark guy yelling at each other.
Thickless needs to die.
Is that our new thing?
Yeah, Thickless
Apparently.
needs to die.
Who started it again?
Rashawn. Who else would start something stupid like that?
My
I mean-
only other guess would have been Jay.
I'm just here for the laughs.
Yeah, it's whatever. I'm tired of it. No, I'm not. I really don't
Vanderbilt front runner for the SEC championship right now.
This is what I'm saying.
They're 1-0,
Thank
baby.
you. You guys are finally understanding.
So
If the season were to end today, Ryan Helinski would be the Heisman. I'm telling
A
you,
lot of teams
I'm
wouldn't
telling-
have games.
No, we can talk about this black shirt defense. And I brought this up to Jay yesterday. It's like maybe they looked bad and got torched, but not only that, you made Ryan Helinski literally look like the Heisman front runner. Was it week 0? Maybe, but if the season were to end today, he'd be the Heisman front runner.
People forget Ryan Helinski was an SEC starting quarterback for 2 years.
And he was really
He
bad.
was not good at South Carolina.
He beat Georgia.
Didn't South Carolina win a combined like 4 games?
He
when
beat
was the
Georgia.
starter. They
One
did
of
beat
those.
Georgia.
Yeah. See,
That is true.
I'm
But that was
I'm
more Shane
intrigued.
Beamer than anything.
I'm intrigued by Georgia
Beamer
right
ball.
now. I'm intrigued by Georgia this
Stetson
year.
Bennett?
No, not because of Stetson. Well,
Also
I mean,
Heisman
because
front runner.
you have Stetson Bennett, but you don't have Zamir White and James Cook
throw you out of this room.
and George
I don't
Pickens.
know why you guys are buying Stetson Bennett.
because it's Stetson Bennett.
All right,
Have you
Texter-
seen him? He
Texter
walked on at Georgia and then pretty
he's
much
a
got
beast.
cut, went to a JUCO and went back to Georgia. And then they were like, "Yeah, I guess they didn't even name him the starter. Somebody got hurt and then he was the starter." And then they're like, "Yeah, I guess you're playing pretty
I'm
well
gonna
right
ask
now.
you right
You're
now-
doing a really good job handing the ball
I'm gonna
off and
ask
throwing
you
3-yard
one
slants
question.
to
Nope.
our all conference freshman tight end and your soon to be NFL Pro
I'm
Bowl
gonna
wide
ask you
receiver." Yeah,
one
congratulations,
question.
Stetson Bennett.
I'm going to ask both of you one question. All you got to do is answer it. How
That is
many
how
current
questions work.
starting quarterbacks in college football have a national championship? How many?
Probably
It's
just
one.
the one.
And it's Stetson Bennett.
Because
I
most
rest my case.
quarterbacks
I rest my case.
after Cardale Jones went to the pros after he won a title.
Hey, you watched it.
He
You
played
watched
two
it.
games.
I'm telling you right now,
Cardale
like when
Jones
you win,
was an XFL
when
MVP.
you win a title, you go to the
12
league.
gauge. He
When
played
you-
2 games.
When you win a title, you go to the league.
He played 2 games.
Actually, I'm pretty sure. Who was it? No, PJ Walker was the XFL MVP. Actually,
Yeah, he was.
shout out PJ Walker.
Then didn't he get signed by the Panthers
He
eventually?
started a couple games. For the
Only
Bring the XFL back.
well, so this USFL.
man.
If we're just gonna talk,
Dang, Jim Moore. Do you guys know Jim Moore? Sorry to interrupt, Rigo. Jim Moore lost his debut as the UConn head coach.
dang, sad.
Jim Moore's at UConn.
Jim
Yeah.
Moore's at UConn. He was running. He
How
ran.
did I miss
He
that?
ran a couple miles around the stadium pregame. That's what he did. He was running shirtless. They showed it on Fox
Feeling himself.
during the game.
Did UConn break their losing streak?
No,
Nah, man.
Oh,
UConn.
They still have it.
Yeah,
What is that now? Like 26
that's
games?
sad.
probably as
27?
long as their women's basketball winning streak was.
Texter says saying I'm a Notre Dame stan is an easy way to get the station changed. LOL. You should listen to Feinbach. Texter.
Fine who?
Feinbach.
Oh, fine.
That's his nickname because he defends the SEC.
Feinbaum is out of control.
No, Feinbach.
I know, but Feinbaum is out of control right now. All right, do you
There
guys,
we go.
Have you guys?
Kirk, here we go. Kirk from Georgia, an actual Georgia Bulldogs fan. I'm a
An
Georgia
actual
fan,
Georgia
and
fan.
I'm ready for Stetson to move on. Great kid, but we can do better.
He won you a national championship.
He
He
didn't win
did
your-
not
no, your
win you a
defense-
national
Your
championship.
defense won
The
you a
big
national
man
championship.
Jordan Davis won you a national
Your
championship.
defense won you a national
Don't
championship.
What
don't
are we
look.
doing? Stetson Bennett threw for 30 touchdowns. You know what 30 touchdowns would be at Nebraska?
What?
A record.
It would be.
It'd be the record
You're not wrong.
for most touchdowns in a season.
That's because they run the ball. Well,
Oh, come on. Come on.
Stetson Bennett would be the leader at the University of Nebraska for touchdown passes. In
no,
the
he
season.
wouldn't
We're
because
calling him a
Stetson
bad
Bennett wouldn't have
quarterback?
no, because Stetson Bennett wouldn't have 30 touchdowns here because he wouldn't have the tight ends and the receivers that he had at Georgia.
I don't know why we're just disregarding that Stetson Bennett could be elite.
Because
He is
he's
not elite.
He was a walk-on who left the program because he wasn't going to be
You
even
know
on the
who else was a
4. He
walk-on?
wasn't going to be on the 4 deep. Hold on, let me finish. He wasn't going to be on the 4 deep.
Okay.
He went to a JUCO, had to play his way up there, finally got good enough to go back to Georgia, where he, again, was not the starter until somebody got hurt, and then then Kirby Smart was like, you're playing well enough that we're winning games, so we'll just leave you in there. It wasn't, oh, you're elite, so you're the starter. It was, you are playing well enough to win games.
The thing is, though, you say walk-on, yet the 5-star number 1 quarterback in the class, Stetson Bennett, the walk-on, beat out.
That's just called the 5-star being a bust.
Bust. Stetson. Okay, JT Daniels, I'm going to tell you right now, West Virginia might actually be.
JT Daniels is not good.
JT Daniels is all right.
How can you sit here and say this with a straight face?
What do you want me to? You're telling me JT Daniels is bad.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID.
I just want to get out of
Oh,
here.
okay.
I don't even like. I can't even. I'll do it.
Just pause 10 seconds for station ID. This is remarkable.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
JT Daniels got hurt. JT Daniels got hurt. He was
did.
better than Stetson.
And how come when he was healthy, he didn't come in for Stetson
because
Bennett?
Stetson Bennett, because the team was rolling and Stetson Bennett was good enough to keep winning. He
The
was
thing
not
is,
elite.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're Nebraska, I would take Stetson Bennett on my team.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I
Would you take Stetson Bennett or Casey Thompson?
Now you got him. Now you got him.
I don't know. That's tough.
Oh, I thought he was elite.
I thought he was elite.
He has
Casey
a national
30 touchdowns.
Casey
30
Thompson's elite.
touchdowns.
I also think Casey Thompson's elite. I really do.
How many starting quarterbacks in college football have national championships? Casey Thompson doesn't.
No, he doesn't. But I think. But the thing is, okay. Let's
Casey
be,
Thompson went 5-7 last year.
Whoa! You guys are acting. I'm saying like I'd take Stetson Bennett over C.J. Stroud.
Would
Maybe,
you?
Maybe. But
oh my! What are you talking about?
No, your mic is muted. Hold on. No, hold on. I gotta process what you just said.
That was actually completely a joke.
I promise I'm not an idiot.
I
I promise I'm not an idiot. I just think
But-
Stetson Bennett's elite.
I just
I'm
act
saying,
like one.
okay, I'd take Stetson Bennett over Adrian Martinez without hesitation. Without hesitation.
Nope.
I wouldn't even blink twice.
I don't think Stetson Bennett's good.
If you put Adrian on that Georgia team, they still win a national title.
Oh no!
Oh,
No, I promise
that's
you that's not
interesting.
true.
They still win a national
I
title.
promise you that's
I
not
guarantee you that.
true. Adrian Martinez fumbles against.
No, because
Auburn,
no. You know why?
Texas
No,
A&M.
you know why?
What were the one-score games that Georgia
No,
played?
hold on. You know why he doesn't fumble? Because he's not getting touched like Stetson Bennett's not getting touched.
Oh, good. Nice. That's a good
Stetson
one.
Bennett's just
Because that
mobile.
offensive. No, he's, oh my god!
Stetson
What is
Bennett's-
happening right now?
Actually, I gotta look up Stetson Bennett.
I am looking. Hold on. No, you don't have to worry about it. I'm looking it up.
I wanna
Dirty
see it.
Tony and the
Here's-
boys. 2 QBs have titles. Bryce Young was a freshman in 2020, and he's the starting quarterback now.
Would you take Stetson Bennett or Bryce Young?
Bryce Young.
Okay, good.
I'll get.
Thank you for
No,
not
you're
being
not
Trust
dumb.
me, I'm
idiots.
being a realist here. I'm being a realist.
Thomas and Lincoln says Adrian would have won a title at Georgia.
And Thomas Lincoln doesn't like Adrian, unless this is the other Thomas and Lincoln, because there's 2
who
of them on
knows?
here.
Who knows? Rushing in 2021, Stetson Bennett had 56 carries for 259 yards.
It's pretty good.
Adrian had that in 2 games.
1 rushing touchdown.
Well, you also gotta keep in mind too, in Stetson Bennett's defense, a lot of those Georgia games
Shocker.
he was out in the second half. Adrian had to play the entire game because Nebraska either was blowing a lead or didn't have a lead.
Adrian was also getting lit up every single second he was
This does not
handling
need
the
to be
ball.
made into an Adrian Martinez discussion. Okay,
No,
we do not.
I'm
We do
just
not
saying,
need to make this into an
1v1.
Adrian Martinez.
I'm just saying, but I actually Bryce Young. Bryce Young the year before? I don't think Bryce Young was the quarterback for that Alabama team, was he?
No, but he was
It
on
would
the team.
have been Mac Jones.
That's what I'm saying. Are you sure Bryce Young was on the team?
He was on the team.
I
Was
thought
he
he
a
was
red
a
shirt?
true
Was he
freshman.
red shirt?
He was a freshman. He's on the team.
I thought he was a true freshman last year.
No,
There's
No.
an easy way to solve this.
The red shirt.
2020 Alabama roster. There's an easy way to settle this. Yep, Bryce Young.
Yeah, there we go. Thomas and Lincoln says, I despise Adrian Martinez. He won't win more than 6 games at K-State. And he said he'd win a title at Georgia. There you go.
Honestly, 6 games is best case scenario because that's probably about where Nebraska's going to be at, so they can play in what the Pinstripe Bowl.
It'll be the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. That's what
Yeah,
it's
they
named.
changed it.
That's what
It's-
it
yeah,
is.
it's not the new era
new.
You
anymore.
guys
It's
are
not,
kidding?
no, it's not new era anymore. It's
You know,
Bad-
because of
it's
all
Bad
those
Boy Mowers.
all those lawns in New York that need
Yeah,
mowed.
exactly. Out there in the city.
So that's frustrating. Stetson Bennett's passing last year, 185 for completed 64% of his passes.
Pretty good.
That is not elite.
That's solid.
Compared to 2020, it is. He completed 55% in 2020. 64% completion rate, 2,862 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. Was sacked 14 times.
You're telling me you wouldn't want that?
Adrian was sacked 14 times in 2 games.
And his line, and I'm telling you right now, okay, but you want to talk about Adrian's picks? Let's talk about Adrian's touchdowns. Let's talk about his fumbles.
Adrian
we
does
can talk about Adrian's turnovers.
This does not need to be made into an Adrian Martinez discussion.
No, Rico said he'd rather have Adrian than Stetson Bennett.
I would.
And that's where I draw the line for
I
disrespect.
guarantee the text I would rather have Adrian than
Give
Stetson
me Bryce
Bennett.
Young, CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams. I'm with you guys on all of those.
Give me any quarterback and that entire Georgia team, and I'll take any quarterback on that team.
Over Casey Thompson?
I'll take an armless Tim Tebow on that team, and they still win the Natty.
Okay, yes, but Tim Tebow's arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of college football. So.
And MLB better.
And, well, he made it AAA. Double A,
Greatest
he was
minor
double A,
league.
he was a double A All-Star. Hit 273.
Never forget that.
He hit 273,
Never
double
forget
A
that.
All-Star.
So, hold on. Stetson
What is
Bennett.
happening right now?
Hold on, time out.
Hey, better numbers than you guys think. I don't know why you guys think his numbers are
who
so
had more
bad.
yards than Stetson Bennett passing?
Adrian Martinez.
Bingo.
Really?
He
By
did.
1 yard.
And that's our barometer.
Baby.
No,
Adrian Martinez
all right,
is better than
mic
Stetson
drop.
Bennett.
That's our barometer.
That's a win.
That's it.
All right, cool. We've settled it.
More passing, more rushing. Adrian Martinez is a winner here.
You guys are
Stetson Bennett, somebody says Stetson Bennett was 17 of 26 for 224 and 2 touchdowns in the Natty and no picks. Stetson Bennett, SB 13, because we're calling him that now.
Let's go.
Over
Put
2
that on a
a.m.
t-shirt.
every game.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That's dumb.
Texter, you are entirely correct. 224 and 2 touchdowns against Alabama's defense. that is good. I don't care what you guys say about Stetson Bennett. Those are
Somebody
good
says, then we have Stetson Bennett sucks. End of discussion.
I don't know how you can look at his numbers and say that.
Oh, okay. Fat Phil says, I think Nebraska is more likely to win 4 games last year with
Thank
Bennett.
you, Fat Phil.
You take that as a win.
It's more wins.
You would have been 4 and 8.
More wins.
How much of a better feeling is there if Nebraska wins 4 instead
The thing
of 3?
is, though, no, Phil, you have to let us know this. Who are they beating?
Stetson Bennett.
If that 4th game is Ohio State, I'll take it.
Stetson Bennett doesn't make it past the 4th game.
What are we doing?
He's broken in half.
You guys are being so.
First off, have you seen him? He's so
disrespectful.
skinny.
You are so
He's so
disrespectful. I can't wait for Stetson Bennett to put up like 50 touchdowns this season and actually be a Heisman finalist.
Over
I
under.
will lose myself.
How much?
It's
so
over.
you think he'll be in the top 5?
Probably
Stetson,
not.
Stetson Bennett.
Well, because it's rigged against him.
Oh my goodness.
What are you talking about?
Because I will say probably half the games Georgia plays because they play in the bad side of the SEC. Let's remember this because Feinbach always talks about how great the SEC. Okay, you get to beat up on Missouri and Vanderbilt every year. Congratulations.
Hey, come on, give respect to Elijah Drinkwitch. Okay, Drinkwitch.
You know what?
Drinkwitz.
We'll forget you just said that. Stetson Bennett's going to be out in the second half for like half the games he plays.
Okay.
So if he's going to put up big numbers, he has to do it in the first half, which, like you guys said, Georgia's defense is going to shut out like every team.
If he puts up big numbers in the first half, then you don't have to worry about.
Is little Dalvin
second
Cook
half.
still on the team?
James Cook? No.
Little Dalvin Cook.
Just like Baby Tua.
Talia.
They have their own names.
Baby Tua.
That is horrible. Do you think Maryland people are be like, yeah, Baby Tua?
Hey, Baby Tua.
Hey, Baby Tua. Baby Tua. I've always called him
I would
Baby
hate
Tua.
that if I was him.
Yeah, OG Les Lancaster goes, the Heisman is rigged against an SEC quarterback.
Never heard of it.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Against a team with that good of a defense? Honestly,
It's
all jokes aside, he will be out at in the second half for the majority of Georgia.
Will Anderson has more first place votes for the Heisman than Stetson Bennett.
Ooh.
Probably. I'll give you that. Will Anderson is legit.
Will Anderson has more rushing touchdowns than Stetson Bennett.
All right. Well, that's where we're going to draw the line.
I would have bet you that Stetson Bennett would not be in the top 5. The Heisman.
I'd probably
finalists.
agree with you. Do they do a top 10?
No.
No, they don't do
It's
a top
the
10.
5
pretty
that go to
sure
New
it's
York.
10. No. But
Or is
that
it 5 or
changes.
3 that go to New
It
York?
changes.
3.
It depends
3.
on the
My
year.
bad.
Depends on the year.
Well, Strick is here, so I'm going to start our out music so that you
Okay.
can get to Stricky.
All right.
Stricky, my boy.
Strick respects Stetson Bennett.
Strick does not
You guys
respect
are
Stetson.
haters.
No,
You guys are
Strick
haters.
understands that Stetson Bennett's not
You
good.
guys are haters.
I'm not a hater.
Adrian had one more passing yard than Stetson Bennett.
It's true. Fat Phil tried to say Bennett would have beat Michigan. He wouldn't have fumbled at the most critical point. No, because they wouldn't have been that close because Stetson Bennett wouldn't have rushed for as many yards as Adrian did.
That's right. He would have been putting up passing touchdowns.
No, he wouldn't
He
have.
threw for 20. What's his over-under on passing touchdowns? Hammer the
Stetson
over.
Bennett?
Hammer the over.
I don't know what his over-under is on
It's
passing
probably like
touchdowns.
32 and a half over.
I doubt it. And under.
They don't have George Pickens. Name one receiver for Georgia.
Go.
Doesn't matter. It'll be some 5-star.
I bet it's not.
It'll be a 5-star they throw out there.
We'll look at this tomorrow. This is unreal. We'll continue this on the crossover tomorrow. We're done for today. We'll be back on a Thursday. Talk more Husker football. Nathan and Strick are next with On the Block. Stick around. Talk to you guys later. See ya.
Adios.
The weather in Nebraska